Do you believe in, like the symbol on your shirt now, do you believe that symbols do something if you're wearing them, or like do they impress something upon, the energy body?
I believe in symbols. My yoga my tarot yoga is just filled with symbols.
Okay.
And I think they kind of plant seeds in your mind, symbols, and you gather the energy from that symbol, whatever that symbol represents. So this is like the Celtic symbol. It's an ancient symbol. So I think you derive some of that wisdom, some of that knowledge from that symbol.
Mm-hmm.
I always look at you always look at the different types of spiritual leaders like Jesus and Buddha, and I don't look at them as people. I look at them as embodiments of certain attributes, like love for Jesus or equanimity for Buddha. So whether or not they exist, these different spiritual entities, it's really the attributes that really are important. So the symbol, whatever attribute is associated with that symbol, I hope that I get a piece of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know, because I've seen people, they'll have a hoodie on or a sweater on or something, that says "no way" or "get lost" or something negative. And it's always jarring to me when I see it, because I'm like, oh no, you're walking around with that on you. It's like you remember the Care Bears?
Yeah.
How they would Care Bear stare, because they had one had the Lucky Charm on it, the other. So that's what they're emanating. So if you do have something on you, you're kind of beaming it out into the universe like a Care Bear.
Yeah. I think that's the same with our thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So one of the main symbols in tarot is a magician, and the magician, it's all about intention.
I think that represents the Gemini, right?
Gemini, exactly.
And
yeah.
I'm Gemini.
Yeah, Gemini.
Yeah.
And it's about, and the quote I always associate with the magician is, "Words have power, thoughts have wings," and they're just not. When they say have power and they have wings, it's physical. Like it's your thoughts impact, has an energy that goes beyond you, that actually physically impacts your furniture, your blender, and I've experienced this before. So like when you're talking about, people have t-shirts with negative stuff, there's an energy going out, and it's not only impacting them, I believe, in a negative way, it's impacting the world around them in a negative way.
Their world, and how it's being paved, right? Because the whole world is, we receive life by way of how we're projecting it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like how you say that has wings on it, the card, right? That because it's the words take flight, and that's air, which is Gemini.
Yeah, I've never thought about that.
It's
because Gemini has the wings. Hermes or Mercury is the messenger god. So it's actually, kind of reinforcing that idea. I like that. We're very smart.
Yeah.
We're very smart.
Yeah. So tell me about this. So this is your yoga tarot?
Yeah, so I've done yoga for many years, and I loved it, and it's a great source of tools, like meditation and the postures and the pranayama. But I never felt that there was any direction. But with tarot, tarot represents our journey from fear to joy, from the physical to the spiritual. And Joseph Campbell documented that in his book, Hero with a Thousand Faces. And he and George Lucas created Star Wars based upon that. The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy's journey from Oz to Kansas, that's from fear, witches and scarecrows, to joy, to Kansas. So the Yellow Brick Road is the hero's journey. And the latest movie that represents, I don't know if you've seen the F1, that racing movie with Brad Pitt.
Yeah, so I didn't see it, but I heard it's good.
Yeah, it's really good, but it's hero's journey. He's got a map and all the symbols. We talk about symbols. There's all these symbols in there that come back to Joseph Campbell and come back to the archetype of the hero's journey. So tarot represents that, and it's, my journey, your journey, whether or not we know it. And tarot is just is another tool to help us on that journey.
Wow. So is this your own thing, like the tarot yoga? Like, did you make that up, like bringing the two together? Or?
Yeah. So, and I've searched tarot yoga, online. I think there's only one other place I know of in North America that does something like that. I don't know if they do it like. I think they do it such that they start the class with a tarot card or something like that, and then the yoga class kind of embodies that. This is so much different. It's like each one, like you talk about Hermes, the magician. It represents, for me, on our journey, one of the tools is intention, setting an intention every day.
It's going to hold it up.
Yeah.
While you say.
Setting an intention every day, and also doing strength postures, like standing postures, so that you have the strength to do that journey, because it's a long journey. And then I have stories, like The Ticket is a story about George, who's always, every day he prays for to win the lotto. And for 50 years, every day he's been praying to win the lotto. And then one day, an angel goes to God and says, George has been praying to win the lotto every day for 50 years. You should let him win the lotto. And God goes, yeah, I really want George to win the lotto. And he just has to buy a ticket.
You just have to put it in action.
I know.
Apply yourself.
Yeah, you can set an intention, but that intention should motivate you and move you in a direction too. So it's not just wishing. It's intention is different from wishing. Intention is really wishing plus, action.
Action.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the belief.
And the belief.
Right? If we don't truly have the belief, because so many people today are on the basis of fake it till you make it. And that's why they do affirmations in front of the mirror that they don't believe yet. Mm-hmm. And that's why it falters. And that's why it makes the foundation very wobbly. The way that I see it, you have to authentically believe that you are that in order for it to tune the field and to become a physical reality, right? Yeah.
And sometimes you do have, there's the first, I have affirmations in here, some of them, and then mantras. So later, the journey is divided into 3 parts. The tarot cards have 78 cards. There's 22 cards. The first card is a Fool card. This card here.
Okay, yeah, the Fool.
And that Fool represents our soul. And you see the soul, you see him stepping off the cliff. That's him stepping onto the human path, so that he's beginning the journey. And then, so the first eight cards really represents our physical presence, where we pick up our trauma, where we pick up our darkness. And the next 8 cards represent the journey into the dark forest. And that's where we do the work, where we dance with our demons and we let go of that. We do the therapy, we let go of that trauma, that darkness. And the last 5 cards are I call it finding the grail, and that's where you actually heal, where you actually bringing in lightness. The space that you've created by removing the darkness. Now the last 5 cards bring in the lightness, and that's with various mantras like Buddhist mantras or Hindu mantras. The last 5 cards represent, the 8 middle cards represent getting rid of the junk, and the last 5 cards represent bringing in the light.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, so interesting. You're just because the way that you're taught, like the lightness and the darkness of things, right, with the cards, it makes me think about. Like I have one of my girlfriends is really religious. She doesn't believe in tarot card readings. So it's like kind of like the devil's work or something like that.
Yeah.
What are your views about that?
Yeah. So many people are shy of tarot for that reason. Usually, certainly Christianity. And so I think Christianity has. Christianity was competing with tarot for many years. Like I think tarot started like the 13th century.
Right.
So Christianity kind of, and most institutional kind of religions, want to protect their turf, right? And so I think tarot represents looking inside for the answers. Christianity represents giving you the answers. So the 2 cards that represent that in here, the High Priestess represents going inside and finding the answers yourself, and that the symbols in that picture represent that. But if you go forward here, the Hierophant represents institutional type of religions, and for them it's about them giving you the knowledge rather than you finding the knowledge. And so there's a definite difference of opinion in that. So I think the importance, rather than saying one's right or wrong, the importance is finding that joy, peace, and happiness inside, whichever way works for you. But
yeah, because we can make anything dark or light just by what we're casting over it.
Yeah.
Right. So I like how you said too, like tarot helps you to kind of look within, whereas religion is just given upon you, because it is something like with the Bible, with scripture that says this is the way, this is what has been written, whereas this is sort of moving with the moment to moment to moment as it's unfolding.
Yeah.
So one's not better than the other, it just depends.
It's different. I think there's different people. I think some people, it's very difficult to do the inner work. It's it takes courage, and there's only certain people that can do that. And so maybe the High Priestess isn't the best for them. Maybe the Hierophant is better for them to find that peace, love, and happiness. And so again, I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think there's just differences.
Yeah, I agree. Do you do tarot card readings full time?
I do it every Thursday at it's a place called Soul Food Books and Gems. So I do it there, and then various kind of fairs like the Galaxy Fair or the Taboo Fair, any kind of big ones like that.
Yeah,
I'll do it there too.
And you've been doing it for how long?
I've been reading tarot. I've been studying tarot probably about 35 years. I've been reading tarot about 10 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And how did you get into it?
So I was in Toronto. I worked in IT, and so I had a gig in Toronto in IT, and there was literally a tarot shop just about on every corner in Toronto at the time, right? So I was kind of bored. I didn't have family and friends there, so I went in to one, and this lady, she had like 20 cards, and she shuffled them, and then she laid them all out in front of me. And so she just read every card. She almost literally read every card. So she was just reading the cards. She wasn't really, I figured, I can do this. There was that part. And then there was also the hangman. The hangman is one of my favorite symbols. As soon as, earlier you were talking about the various symbols and how important they were. This one just, this is like the iconic tarot card image, but it just resonated with me. So that's probably really what.
So is the Hanged Man positive?
Oh yes, that's about letting go.
Right, because some people would go, it was hanging.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Hanging kind of upside down is not a good thing, but it is.
It is.
Okay.
So Arcana.
Oh, and it aligns with tree pose.
Yeah, so I do the tree pose on that one too. So all the different I try to align the pose the card with various poses, right? So the Tower card, you'll see the Tower card here, the Death card. There's a Devil, and there's a Tower card. So there's inversions there, right?
Inversions, yeah.
Right. So it's almost like they were kind of made for each other, tarot and yoga, in many ways.
Yeah. So is it kind of like pagan?
Yeah, I don't think I think pagan. I think that's pagan is just another word for those occult religions that don't follow the traditional.
That's what I was thinking. I wonder, is tarot like?
I think so. I think it's a part of anything that it's an unconventional
Right.
spirituality,
Right.
and so witchery falls into that occult. Tarot falls into that. Astrology falls into that. There's a whole bucket called the occult, and that's what that tarot falls into that bucket. And then there's a whole bucket that for traditional religions like
Right.
Buddhism, Hinduism,
Yes.
Christianity.
Now, I interrupted you when you were talking about the lady that you went to see in Toronto, and she laid out the 20 cards, and then you were saying you could read those cards, you were thinking, and then you talked about the Hanged Man, and I interrupted you. Do you remember where your mind was going at that time?
No, I think you were. What was your question? What was the origins?
Yeah.
So at that point, as soon as I saw that symbol, so I have a English degree,
Okay.
and then I took a lot of courses in art history, and so that symbolism resonates with me, and it resonates with all of us at some level.
The Hanged Man.
The Hangman, I think that's one of the iconic, probably the most well-known tarot card,
Okay.
other than the Death card. And so that one basically, I think there was something inside me that kind of just was attracted to it.
Right.
I think that's the power of symbols, is that even though you've never seen that symbol before, there's something that's just in that our unconscious that connects us to that symbol, and that intuitively we know that there's something it's trying to teach us.
And there's no coincidence that, ironically, I asked you about symbols at the very beginning.
I know,
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
It's like when you're dialed in and you're connected, right? Everything flows together.
It's like,
So do you teach any courses on tarot and yoga, or tarot in general?
so the beauty of this is you can just do one card. You can do all 22 cards. I haven't got into the other 56 cards, but so you can there's so and then how I do it is there's a lot of affirmations and mantras. Do you do the affirmation 8 times, or 21 times, or 108 times? So it's really you can.
Isn't that funny? I opened it onto the magician.
The Gemini in you.
Can you believe that? That's so funny. Okay, so for example, if I opened up on, so I would do all of them from start to finish, kind of as a sequence. Then you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
From the first card all the way down. So this card, the posture is you're just seated cross-legged here, right? For magician.
For intention. So the intention is you sit there and you set your intention. I give you a little song and dance of what an intention is. There's an art to an intention, and then the strength cards. So the strength cards you can do a warrior. You can just do a warrior posture, or you can do the 20 standing postures. You can expand it or make it small. But the point of the strength posture is you're trying to develop the strength mentally and physically for your journey.
Okay.
And so this can be like just one step in a 10 minutes or 5 minutes in a hour class, or it can be the whole class. So and then there's I always have quotes like, words have power, thoughts have wings, the power of God is within us, the grace of God surrounds us, and then you see the symbol here. that the magician, that's a symbol that basically, it's an old symbol. It's basically, you have the power to bring heaven to earth, as above to below.
So below.
So below, and then the infinity side, that's a Lemnescu sign. That basically
The infinity?
The
It's
infinity.
called, what is it?
It's called Lemnescu. So it's that's why a lot of my postures, I do 8 breaths, because that represents.
Oh, this is an 8. It's on
That's
its
an
side.
8. Yeah. So it's a very powerful symbol. Basically, it's a supernatural aid. So you think of Dorothy on the Yellow Brick Road, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Straw Man. They were her aids. So the magician is kind of an aid on your journey. But 8, most mantras are 108, right? Right. The 8 so 1 represents fullness, 0 represents emptiness, and the 8 represents infinity. So that's that's the path. So the first 8 cards are your fullness, is where you're developing your trauma or whatever. The next 8 cards is the emptiness, where you're letting go. And the last 5 cards is the infinity, where you're actually filling your body with light, infinity, right? So there's, yeah, I could go on forever on that. The whole 108 and the Lemnescu.
Well, I always wondered, because with yoga, the 108 sun salutations that they'll do.
Yeah, so that 108, there's 12 times, how does it go? 12 times, that's the number of constellations.
Okay.
9 times 12 is 108. Also 108, if you add 108, 9 plus 8 is 9. That divides into 108. So it's a special number in so many different ways. In Buddhism, 108 represents the 108 stages on your path from fear to joy. So it goes on. And so I try to incorporate all that symbolism into my yoga, so you're not just doing 12 breaths because Iyengar told you to do 12 breaths. 8 is a symbolic number, so it brings meaning to the whole process. So I usually, when I do a posture like a warrior posture, it's either for 8 breaths or 21 breaths, which is the path, or 108 breaths. So that's.
Well, the breath work is so important. I mean, most of us are not breathing properly, so the body's in a state, you could even say more anaerobic, where it's lacking oxygen, which is where cancer thrives, right?
Yes, yeah.
Disease thrives. And so even in the yoga class I took this morning at 6 a.m., the instructor, Adam, he was doing a lot of breath work, a lot of Kundalini.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely love. And it's amazing, because when you start doing that breath work, you get really dizzy, you can get really kind of out there, because we're not used to taking in that much life.
Yeah.
We're on autopilot, and when we're on autopilot, we are holding our breath, or the thing I've found is that if we're fixated a lot on stress, for example, stress resists life. And so again, it puts you into that anaerobic state. And so the body's in a state of surviving mostly throughout the day. So when we breathe really intensely and then we move into thriving, it's unfamiliar. That's why it can make us feel dizzy. It's not something we normally do, right? So,
yeah. So that's a good point, Jennifer. Breath, if you look at the next one here, the High Priestess, this is about a breathe. So there's 2 types of meditation. Calm meditation, you think of a glass full of water and there's sediment at the bottom.
Yeah.
And so someone cuts you off in traffic, the sediment kind of flies around. So calm meditation is basically using your breath or a mantra or something like that to calm the sediment. And the hermit Vipassana meditation is where that sediment, you look at each one of those pieces of sediment, I call it depth meditation, Vipassana meditation, and you let that sediment go. So you really dig into it so that at the end of the day, you have no sediment in your glass, so that when life events happen, you just flow through it. So breath helps you calm yourself, but eventually you have to do the work. Calm, the breath, calm meditation helps you through the first half of the path, but the second half you have to really go inside and look at your shit.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I used to teach breath classes. And so as you're saying that, I'm thinking, yeah, like the breathing can be there to calm you. You start to feel more life force. There's more energy coming in. But as there's more life force coming in, it starts to pull on the lower vibrational energies from within you. So this is when we have to do the work. So at first it feels kind of like, oh, okay, this is nice and airy-fairy. And then all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, like what's coming up, you know?
Yes.
And then if you resist it, you suppress it and inflame the situation more and shut it down and compound the problem, versus if you meet it with enthusiasm, meaning you're not trying to make it more or less, just simply surrender and let go, like you were saying earlier with one of the other cards there, right? What was the letting go card again? It was
that's
the
a hangman.
Hangman, yeah. Then we let go and surrender to it. That is when we can, let's say, for lack of better wording, transform lower vibrational energies to higher ones, and really experience a mending within us, right?
I like that, how that breathing kind of, because it does bring up that stuff in the unconscious. And then most people aren't prepared to deal with that.
No, they're not. So they get scared, like, okay, I better stop. And then they actually add another layer of tension over top of it.
Or they bury deeper.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they'll bring it, and then to suppress it more just inflames the situation more. Right? Our thinking, it's interesting, when I wrote my book, Soul Center, we've always thought that inflammation is physical. And we never pause to think about how that happens. Well, emotions tune the physical reality, period. This physical body is not operative without the attunement of the waveform, which is mind. You know, so it's our thinking that is inflamed first, that then becomes a physical manifestation, right? So unless we work on ourselves emotionally and we self-reflect, rather than acting like victims and putting our stuff on other people, right? Then we can transcend something. Then we can grow and evolve. But we can create more circulation in the body and bring down the inflammation. But until then, we'll just keep compounding, inflaming the situation. And the further down we stuff and inflame it, the more unwell and diseased we become.
I almost, like, as you're talking, I almost now look at inflammation as just fear.
Yeah, it is.
It's just fear that so that fear is probably just overflowing in your mind, and it just goes into your joints. I don't know if that's the case, but that's just what came to my mind as you were talking.
I wrote all about how there's like it's a fear crust, actually. So what happens is like I have a method in the book called the SIT method. So it's all about seeing it through, it being the negatively charged belief. So when we sit with the emotion and we fully surrender to it, right, and then everything is allowed to come up, all time happens simultaneously, meaning that when we feel the resistance of what's going on today and we let go into it, then all time is now happening simultaneously. So what's happening now is stringed together to something that happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago in the crib when I was a tiny baby, that's now dictating who we are today. So we don't have to go back to the past to try to psychoanalyze something and figure our way out of it mentally or remember it. If we feel today, really feel and surrender and honor today, we neutralize and alter and become the alchemizers that transform and rewrite our history without psychoanalyzing anything, which is why feeling equates to healing. And yet so many of us will say, well, I'll feel that out for a couple minutes, and that's it. And it's like, no, that actually puts a condition on the feeling. Now you're being conditional with yourself, which makes you conditional with everybody else. Oh, I can't scream and yell loud. I better put a pillow over my face to do it. Well, now you're being judgmental and putting another condition with yourself. So nothing is able to heal. So the way that I see it is, if we feel into the feeling and let it tell its story through us without any conditions and any judgments, no timers on our phone, no nothing to set up, then once that's actualized through us, the emotion becomes neutral, which is another way to say we allow the emotion to come back home and be anchored within us, and that neutralizes our entire history and present moment.
It's like a domino.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever thought that that domino goes past other generations?
Yes.
And then forward
generations? It
generations?
has to, because of the ancestral lineage, which is in the DNA script.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by all time.
Oh,
It
I see.
happens simultaneously. Like, it could go to the crib,
Yeah.
but it's also, it's embedded not just within the physical cells of the DNA, but the holographic ones as well.
Isn't that just like, I get chills just.
Yes,
hearing that.
Changes the whole trajectory of what the timeline actually is.
Yeah.
I think so many of us look at time as though it's a bad thing, because we're not remembering that we are the creators of time. There's no such thing as God creates time and there's an expiration date that you're not in control of. I mean, that's just another lazy, unaccountable excuse to try to justify you not wanting to be responsible for your life. So when we understand that we're creating time, and that the only thing that terminates the body eventually is us exhausting ourselves with our programming, you know, we set ourselves free when we really, really realize that. But it's not something we can just think, you know, into action. We have to really know that by way of, like we were talking about earlier, the experience, right? The action of going in and seeing those charged emotions through, so that that becomes something innately known within us, right? Yeah. I love consciousness. You know, I love the study of all of it. It's not, I've never been just attached to one modality of something. I've traveled the whole world, you know, meeting people that I've found interesting, that's what education is to me. Life education is really not sitting in a classroom, not that there's anything wrong with that. However, we can get programmed with somebody else's knowledge and then lose sight of and even suppress our own innate wisdom and our own knowledge in doing it. Whereas when we move through the world and we go through life and are just naturally gravitate towards people we want to learn from, and then into another one and into another one, then we understand the conduit process of how we move through one another to hear one another, to hear ourselves speak through one another a lot of the times too, right? And then once we have that understanding, then going into the educational system can also be supportive. So we don't kind of get indoctrinated by becoming repeaters of somebody else's information. We can see the system of how we flow through one another, and then use the educational system as a springboard to know our own wisdom within ourselves. Yeah.
There's one card in here called duty.
Okay.
So there's the 3 temptations of Buddha under the Bodhi tree, the 3 temptations of Christ in the wilderness is fear, desire, and duty. So duty is really listening to the voice of other people rather than listening to your own voice. And a lot of people have kind of a positive attitude towards duty, but duty is basically you not following your heart, you're following someone else's path. I think is what you're talking about. And there's Hamlet, for example. That's me bringing literature into Hamlet. You know, he felt it was duty to revenge his father. He wasn't really, if you read it, I don't think he was really keen on killing his uncle, but because he was following that duty, you know, 9 other people died, including himself at the end. So it's important to follow your heart. Once you start following someone else's path, bad things start happening. And even in Arthurian legend, you're looking for the Holy Grail. You've heard of that legend. Parzival was so King Arthur sent his knights out to find the Holy Grail, which represents that peace, love, and happiness at the end of our journey. That's one of the ancient symbols. But the only one that found that Holy Grail was Parzival, because he found his own trail through the Black Forest. Everyone else followed another trail that was like already there, but he created his own trail. So really, to find that peace, happiness, and joy, you really got to listen to your own heart, follow and go with the flow, like you were saying. Traveling and just gravitating to where you feel that you should be going, rather than listening to someone else and following their path.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you think you want to touch on before we wrap up with it?
I think it's been great. It's nice. You're a very great listener. I love some people, and you understand what I'm saying, and you can respond. Most people, it just kind of goes over their head. So I get a kind of blank look. So it's really nice, even me voicing my passion and someone actually listening. So thank you for that.
No, I really appreciate you, and I like how to earlier. Just talking about doing things from the heart, right? And that's what this whole thing is about. It's like when we first spoke on the phone, and you said, "What's your podcast about?" And I said, "I don't plan anything. There's nothing organized prior, other than a setup for for cameras and stuff like that." And how you said, "Well, that sounds like you're really moving from the heart, not the head."
Yeah.
And I like that. I appreciate that.
And it feels so much better when you do it from the heart. Like whereas you do things from the head, you get into that fight or flight. Did I say the right word? Or whereas you do it from the heart, there's no right or wrong. It's just heart.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And okay, so where's that place that people can find you on Thursdays? Is it a coffee house?
It's called Soul Food, Books, and Gems.
Okay.
And it's on, I think, 19th Street, just off of Kensington.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what time is it at?
I work from 12 to 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.